on, Prime Minister Modi will visit Russia on the 8th and 9th of July and hold talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This will be Prime Minister's first trip to the country since it invaded Ukraine. This trip is expected to reaffirm the long-standing ties between the two countries, which date back to the Cold War. Russia remains one of India's most important trading partners, particularly on weapons and defense. The Ministry of External Affairs said that the two leaders would review the entire range of multifaceted relations between both the nations and exchange views on contemporary regional and global issues of mutual interest. The summit is scheduled for the 9th of July, is what we're learning. Brian Thomas, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Brian, a very important visit considering that, Russia and India and their relationship, despite the Ukrainian war, has been unmoved.
Definitely, Vineet. Narendra Modi is now set to visit Russia on July 8 and 9 to now hold talks with Vladimir Putin, marking the Indian Prime Minister's first trip to the country, since the invasion of Ukraine, according to the very Kremlin announcement. And during his visit also, Prime Minister Modi and Putin will discuss prospects for further development of traditionally friendly Russia-Indian relations, as well as relevant issues on the international and regional agenda, as said even in the statement by Kremlin. And talking about this trip also, Vineet, it's Modi's first to Moscow since 2015, which comes after his re-election for a third time in June. Yes, definitely Prime Minister Narendra Modi has met Putin multiple times at international summits, and they have even frequently spoken by phone. But this upcoming visit definitely aims to reaffirm the long-standing ties between the two nations, which have their roots in the Cold War era, and Russia still remains one of India's key trading partners, especially in defense. Now, even India's MEA also stated that the two leaders would review the entire range of multifaceted relations between the two countries and exchange views on contemporary regional and global issues of mutual interest. And this summit is scheduled for July 9th. And even the partnership with Moscow and Delhi and have been tested as Russia has developed closer ties with China, which is India's main rival due to the hostilities in Ukraine. And Narendra Modi also skipped the summit of the SCO, which is a security grouping created by Moscow and Beijing to counter Western alliances. And yes, but this visit rather will be a very pivotal, visit for Narendra Modi and of Kremlin also, which stayed in their very statement.
All right, international affairs expert Mr. Sanjeev Srivastava also is joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Srivastava, how would you categorize this visit in the light of the Ukraine and Russia war? Of course, there has been an expression from both sides that there could be a ceasefire, or there could be a time when this war comes to an end, and India's role in perhaps ending it too.
Yes, certainly, Vineet. I think India's position on this Russia-Ukraine war has been quite consistent, that India has been advocating that dialogue is the only solution of this crisis, and there should be, there must be end of hostilities as quickly as possible, and both the sides should come onto the negotiating table. And Prime Minister Modi's words of wisdom, which he directly expressed to President Putin in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, that this is not the era of war, is still resonating. It is still relevant. And this is the only solution that both the sides should come to the negotiating table. But unfortunately, thus far, there is no such sign that both the sides are serious enough to come to the negotiating table. Because Beneath the reality of this war is that this war is being fought between major powers indirectly. On one side, there is United States of America, NATO, and plus Ukraine, and the other side, Russia. And this war is a contestation for enhancing their sphere of influence in the European theater, and that is why Russia and the United States of America, NATO are fighting, and they are using Ukraine as battleground. So in this kind of a situation, it is quite clear that there is not going to be any winner or loser in this war. The only loser of this war is the common people of Ukraine and the soldiers of Ukraine and Russia. They are the only losers and their family members. But ultimately there is not going to be any outcome of winner and losers, etc. in this war. and the dialogue is the only solution, and that is what India has been advocating for. I'm sure when Prime Minister Modi meets President Putin this time too, during this visit, I'm sure that Prime Minister Modi is going to reiterate this India's position, and I think that's the only position, that's the only way through which this conflict can be resolved. But we have to see that what kind of scenario develops in future. But at this point of time, these scenarios are quite bleak and disappointing.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.